The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Welcome to the show. David Pakman here. Producer Louis Motamedi is here with me as well. Over the weekend, Louis, I was fascinated by the story about Dominique Strauss-Kahn, the IMF chair, who is now being accused of rape and or sexual assault, at least. You heard about the story, I'm sure.
Yep.
I was the first thing that came to mind. This is Dominique Strauss-Kahn is the, at least as of this broadcast, the head of the International Monetary Fund. And he was taken off of an Air France flight at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York, literally seconds before it was going to taxi back from the gate. He's a married father of 4, and he has this reputation with women that precedes him. I guess he was known as the great seducer. I don't think he was very seductive in his Sofitel hotel room. As Louis is everything okay, Louis, with that microphone?
Having some mic trouble. We're good now.
He was not really very seductive with the maid at the Sofitel, where I guess allegedly he attempted rape and criminal sexual conduct. The maid was, this is just all the report, but the more details we get, Louis, the more fascinating this thing is. He was not wearing any clothes, and I guess he was in the bathroom. This was an expensive suite at the Sofitel. Maid comes in, and I guess he was chasing her around the room naked, which is an odd way to seduce someone, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you're like a saggy old man. I don't know.
Well, you're editorializing now, but the first thing I thought when I heard of this is, who does this guy must think he's the president of the United States to be pulling a move like this.
Or the president of the world.
He must think he's Bill Clinton to even have the audacity to pull something like this. He spent 24 hours in a Harlem precinct. He was identified by the maid in a lineup. He went to the hospital for a forensic examination, and he was in court earlier today. And you know what's fascinating about this is that I don't know if we're getting the whole Tiger Woods phenomenon going on, because we've already heard from one lawyer whose client over in Europe, in France, now is saying his client, Tristan Bannon, was also sexually assaulted by Dominique Strauss-Kahn, but she didn't file charges because she was worried that, this was in 2002, allegedly, she was dissuaded because her own mother said, you know what, I'm part of the Socialist Party, and so is this Dominique Strauss-Kahn, and he could potentially be the president at some point, and it just wouldn't be a good idea. She didn't think she would have credibility. So far, one other woman coming out of the woodwork. Are we to expect 10 more by the end of the day?
It's possible. 10 might be a stretch, though.
10 might be a stretch. The timeline on this is interesting because immediately after the alleged incident, when the police were called, Strauss-Kahn just left the hotel and went right to the airport. And he was nabbed, I guess, 4 hours later. He was already on the plane in first class, of course. And I'm just adding up here. He has a first-class flight on Air France from JFK to Paris, okay? He has a $3,000 a night suite at the Sofitel. And what exactly does this say about, I guess that Socialist Party really is doing pretty well over in France. They must be.
I guess.
He was gone by the time detectives arrived. He was arrested on charges of a criminal sex act, attempted rape, and unlawful imprisonment. Oh, because he was preventing the woman from leaving as well. His wife, this guy's married. His wife is Anne Sinclair, and she's defending him in a statement to the French news agency, the AFP. I do not believe for 1 second the accusations brought against my husband. I have no doubt his innocence will be established. She's a New York-born journalist who hosted a popular weekly TV news broadcast in France some years ago. Do you buy into that statement? There's no way that the first instinct from a wife with such specific charges is going to be to say that it's just all made up.
She's stating two things. One, she does not believe the accusations, and two, that his innocence will be established. It's perfectly possible that his innocence could be established, especially considering how much money this guy has.
Well, that wouldn't be innocence established. It would be guilt is not established. There's a big difference. This is the whole not guilty versus innocent thing.
Innocent until proven guilty.
And he may
if
never
you're not
be
proven guilty, you're innocent.
Well, no, you're never really proven innocent. What's the
No, it's just assumed you're innocent. If you're not, I mean, it's binary. It's one or the other.
I don't think it is. There's a difference between innocent. A lack of a guilty verdict does not mean that the person has been determined innocent. It has only been determined that there is not enough evidence to say they are guilty. It's completely a different thing. It's a burden of proof thing.
Okay, well,
I think Lewis is off on this. Is he not?
Two separate statements either way.
The real question
I
for
think
me
obviously
is,
she's in denial.
Number one, what is a socialist IMF executive doing in a $3,000 a night hotel suite and in a likely $8,000 to $10,000 first class seat on a transatlantic flight? And the other instinct I had is this guy should be a politician in the U.S. He would fit in perfectly as a congressman, would he not?
Definitely.
This is almost, it's par for the course. Mm-hmm. Also, another thought I had was the legal system seems to be so in order for sexual crimes. I'm putting aside the fact that many rapes go unreported. We've addressed that before.
Yeah.
There's a process. There's specific evidence collected. He's brought down to have medical tests, DNA, et cetera, et cetera. You've got the lineup. Why does our legal system just completely fail for the most egregious financial crimes and war crimes? We just can't seem to get it together there. Not a single person on Wall Street going to jail, but we've got DNA sniffing dogs, we've got tests, we have everything going perfectly with these sexual crimes. Obviously, the answer is corruption.
It took a long time to get us to this point, but here we are.